Hello, hello, hello. Am I early? Well, I'm just right on time. 1 minute. It's pretty good. Hi, everybody. So, Chad Daybell trial, we're going to just recap it. Good, I got. It's my Low Country Visitor's Guide. We're going to recap a little bit of that because there was a little bit of drama, in the courtroom with some people in the gallery. So I'm not sure exactly what happened, but we're going to check it out. I think our friend there, Nate Eaton, who's in the courtroom, will fill us in on that via Twitter. And we're going to talk about the Karen Reed case because, recently someone said to me, gosh, I'm not familiar with the case. I'm like, don't you remember it's that woman that she went to a bar with her boyfriend and then she dropped him off at a party, and it was that police officers that they met up with at the bar, and then she went home, and the next day she went to look for him because he didn't come home, and then he was in the snow, and it looked like she had run him over, but then they were saying it was a setup. So yeah, we'll go into that. And then the sentencing for the Rust armorer, we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about that case in Oklahoma because there's some legal documents that came out in that case. So we're going to talk about that. And then, who knows where we will go. Round and round, and we'll see what happens. So anyway, on a personal level, no. I had a really nice walk today, so it was about probably close to 6 miles. I was going to ride my bike, left here to ride my bike, and Jimmy goes, do you want to go on a walk? I'll go with you. All right. So we went, we had, it was a good, not a leisurely walk, okay, a speed walk. And at some points we jog, okay? We both got those new sneakers that Luke touted to us, the Hokas. So they really are great. But anyway. So we go closing in on come on, Happy goes to this. Oh my gosh. I think I heard something. What are you talking about? See if I can get Ethan on the phone. See, come on, we gotta keep going, pick up the pace. Alright, I should check the bolt in the basketball rim, because if they're slam dunking on it, I don't want anything to happen. I thought it was loose. Long story short, he bails, but then he went and played catch, with baseballs and gloves with the kids. And I said, how was that bolt? Is that okay? Yeah, it was. But at that point, then I said, okay, I'm already walking at a good clip, and I'll do that. And hey there, hi 61. So I ended up doing that, which was good because with my anemia a few weeks ago, it was hard for me to do even a mile, and I couldn't. I rode my bike a mile, and then this was back in February, and I thought I was going to pass out because my anemia was so bad I couldn't get enough oxygen. And now, knock on wood, much better. So Evie said or was it Evie that said it was the Shell Marathon? No, was it the Shellathon? Like the marathon? I'm preparing for the Shellathon. And tomorrow I have a doctor's appointment. I don't know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow. I hate to look because I don't want it to see bad, but I think by Wednesday I'll be able to get get on my bike, and I think, knock on wood, that'll be fun. Hi Dina. How are you? Okay, so we're ready to go here. I think we'll start with, let me get this. That case in Oklahoma. Let me see, is this it? Yeah. You know what? Doggone it. I forgot to do something very important. How did I not see that? Dang. Okay. Okay, that's good. Let me get this paper. Where did this document I just had this document. Arrest affidavit. And then I thought I put it over here. Apparently I did not. Okay, let me make this a little larger. So this is for one of those 4 defendants in Oklahoma, and this is going to be about Veronica Butler. So state of Oklahoma, Tiffany Michelle, look at the spelling of that, Michelle Adams, the defendant. Birth date 10/31/1969. Let's see. I'm a special agent. Okay, we don't need all that, right? On Saturday, March 30th, 2024, the Texas County Sheriff's Office requested Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation investigative services with the suspicious disappearance of Veronica Butler, 27, and Jillian Kelly, 39, from rural Texas County after their vehicle was found abandoned near Highway 95 and Road L, south of Elkhart, Kansas. Butler and Kelly were traveling to Oklahoma from Hugoton, Kansas. Interviews were conducted related to their disappearance, and it was discovered that Butler was in a problematic custody battle with Tiffany Adams for the custody of Butler's 2 children. The father of those children was Wrangler Rickman, Adams' son. Butler's visitation with their children was court-ordered to be supervised every Saturday. Adams had a particular person she preferred to supervise those visitations, and that was Cheryl Brune. The court ordered Adams to pay Brune to supervise visits if that was who she wanted to be present. Otherwise, Butler was to choose and pay for the person to supervise. Adams said Brune was unavailable to supervise the visitation on March 30th, so Butler was required to arrange for a supervision with one of her 3 approved individuals, and Butler contacted Kelly of Hugoton and planned to have her supervise the visit. Butler told family members she was going to pick up her children from Adams at 1,000 hours at 4 Corners, intersection of Highway 95 and US 64 West, a location in Texas County, Oklahoma. Butler and Kelly left Hugoton, Kansas. Or is it Hugoton? I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm botching that. And traveled to Highway 95 and Road L, about 5 miles north of 4 Corners. Butler and Kelly arrived at that location at approximately 9:40. Butler planned to bring her daughter to a birthday party, but after they didn't arrive, the family began looking for Butler, Melissa, and Joey Padilla, who were Butler's family members, located Butler's abandoned vehicle just west of the intersection. Okay, hold on a minute. Who began looking for Butler? Melissa and Joey Padilla, who were Butler's family members, located Butler's abandoned vehicle just west of the intersection of Highway 95 and Rodell. The Padillas then contacted law enforcement at 12:09 hours. An examination of the vehicle and the area surrounding the vehicle found evidence of a severe injury. Blood was found on the roadway and edge of the roadway. Butler's glasses were also found in the roadway south of the vehicle near a broken hammer. A pistol magazine was found inside Kelly's purse at the scene, but no pistol was found. Adams told OSBI that on Friday night, March 29th, Rickman and Butler's children stayed the night with Barrett and Lacey Cook. Adams said she planned to pick them up that morning before a visitation. Adams said she called Butler at 900 hours to confirm the meeting, and Butler said Adams came up and said she was not going to make it. Butler's phone records confirmed the call occurred. However, at the time of the call, Butler was in Hugoton, Kansas, in the process of picking Kelly up to go meet Adams. Adams stated that she was home at the time that Butler and Kelly were missing. Adams picked the children up before 1200 hours and from the Cook's residence. OSBI interviewed Brune, and she said she was available to supervise the visit that day, but Adams told her to take a couple of weeks off from the visitation so that Adams could question the children related to how Butler approved visitation supervisors were. Butler and Kelly's phone records indicated their devices were actively sending signals to their carriers until approximately 9:42 hours, after which the devices were no longer seen by the networks and they stopped transmitting. Neither phone was found at the scene or within the vehicle, and they are currently missing. Adams was the last known person to communicate with Butler and was scheduled to meet Butler and Kelly for visitation at 1000 hours on March 30th, 2024. Through the child custody case, recordings were obtained where Rickman discussed death threats by Adams and Adams' boyfriend, Tad Cullum. The custody battle began in February of 2019 with many hearings and court appearances. On March 18, 2024 and March 20th, 2024, motions were filed requesting extended visitation for Butler. A hearing was scheduled to occur on April 17, 2024, but Butler's attorney informed OSBI that Butler was likely to receive unsupervised visitation with her children at that hearing. At times, Adams refused to let Rickman have his children, even though Rickman had legal custody of them. Law enforcement previously responded to a call for service when Adams refused to give Rickman his children. Reportedly, the officer told Rickman he believed the children were better off in Adams' care. Rickman's grandmother, Debbie Knox Davis, reported that in mid to late February of 2024, Rickman told her that they didn't have to worry about the custody battle much longer because Adams had it under control, that Adams knew the path the judge walked to work, and we will take out Victoria at drop-off. Rickman was confirmed to be in a rehabilitation facility in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, at the time of the disappearance. It's interesting, right? Crazy. The children remain in the custody of Adams. Rickman denied having that conversation with Knox. On April 1st, 2024, OSBI agents obtained a search warrant for Adams' cell phone. OSBI agents performed an extraction on the device. Information gained from the device included web searches for taser, pain level, gun shops, prepaid cellular phones, and how to get someone out of their house. On April 3rd, 2024, OSBI interviewed CW, age 16. CW is the daughter of Cora Twombly and Colby White. Cora is married to Cole Twombly. CW stated that She had overheard group conversations related to Butler not protecting her children from her brother, all in reference to an SA allegation. CW advised that she was told by Cora and Adams, Cullum, Cora, Cole, and Paul Grease were involved in the deaths of Butler and Kelly. She stated that Adams had provided burner phones to use so they could communicate without using personal devices. CW saw 2 burner phones charging on Cora's nightstand in the bedroom. CW described Cora, Cole, Adams, Cullum, Paul Grice as being part of an anti-government group that had a religious affiliation. Through OSBI investigation, it was learned that they called their group God's Misfits. Regular meetings are held weekly at Twombly's and the home of Barrett and Lacey Cook. CW was told on March 29, 2024, that Cora and Cole would not be home in the morning when she woke and were going to be on a mission. When CW awoke at approximately 1,000 hours, Cora and Cole were not home, but came home around 1,200 hours. CW knew that Cole and Cora took a blue and gray Chevrolet pickup truck owned by them and a blue flatbed pickup owned by Clint Twombly when they left, and returned it the same. Hold on, it returned it. Where did we go here? And returned it in the same vehicle. CW was told to clean the interior of the Chevrolet pickup, and CW asked Cora what had happened and was told that things did not go as planned, but that they would not have to worry about her, Butler, again. CW was told that Cora and Cole blocked the road to stop Butler and Kelly and divert them to where Adams, Cullum, and Grace were. CW asked about Kelly and why she had to die, and was told by Cora that she wasn't innocent either, as she had supported Butler. CW asked Cora if their bodies were put in a well, and Cora replied something like that. CW also disclosed the other attempts to kill Butler occurred during February of, hang on a moment, (2024) near Hugoton, Kansas, in which Adams, Cullum, Cole, Cora, and Grice went to Hugoton. But Butler did not leave the residence. This is consistent with the web search discovered on Adams' phone about how to get someone out of their house. According to Cora, the plan was to throw an anvil through Butler's windshield while driving, making it look like an accident because anvils regularly fall off work vehicles. Oh my goodness. While in Carrick, Texas, interviewing CW and her brother, Cora and Cole arrived and tried to get access to CW and her brother. Cora was verbally aggressive and was very upset with your affiant that she was not granted access to CW and her brother. Cora exited the vehicle armed with a handgun in a holster on his belt. Hang on, let me get to where the heck is your job? Okay, here we go. OSBI investigation showed that Adams searched for gun shops on her cell phone. A search of local gun shops showed Adams buying 5 stun guns at the Big R store in Guyman, Oklahoma, and the purchase was made on March 23, 2024. OSBI investigation showed that Adams purchased 3 prepaid cellular phones from Walmart in Guyman, Oklahoma on February 13, 2024. The phones were identified by their phone numbers. Search warrants for information related to location services and phone usage were completed for each device. It was learned that all 3 phones were in the area where Butler's car was located and the last known location of Butler and Kelly. At the time of their disappearance, all 3 phones were powered on and accessed the cell network for the first time at or near Cullum's residence at different times. Prior to March 30th, 2024. On March 30th, 2024, the phone numbers phone numbers before Butler and Kelly's disappearance were at the Twombly's residence prior to going to or near the Cullums residence. Butler and Kelly's disappearance at 10:05 and 10:16 hours, both phone numbers were in the area at or near Cullums residence. After Butler and Kelly's disappearance on March 30th, between 10:16 and 10:35, it was determined that the phone numbers were at a property owned by Janie Beasley, below a dam in that pasture where fresh dirt work was located by your affiant. Concrete was moved from a location near Beasley's residence, approximately 150 to 200 yards below the dam, where it was discovered that a hole had been dug and filled back in and then covered with hay. The location where Butler and Kelly disappeared from and where Butler's vehicle was located is approximately 8.5 miles away from the location below the dam on Beasley's property, giving drive time from the location of where Butler's vehicle was located to Beasley's property well within the 34 minutes between the time of Butler and Kelly's phone stopping transmission and prepaid phone numbers arriving at the dam on the Beasley's property. All prepaid phones stopped transmitting on the morning of March 30th at locations near Twombly's residence and Beasley's property. Okay, wherefore affiant prays this court to issue a warrant for the arrest of the within named defendant, that he or she may be brought before a magistrate and held to answer for the offenses of murder in the first degree, kidnapping, and conspiracy. So yeah, that was really, wow. Hi there, hi Snow Remover, hi Christine, hi 61, hi everybody. Okay, now we're going to move on to, let's do the rust armor. All right, the armorer on the film Rust, who loaded a live round into a revolver that went off on the set in 2021 and killed the cinematographer, was sentenced on Monday to 18 months in prison for the involuntary manslaughter. This was the maximum sentence that Hannah Gutierrez Reed could receive. So she got the maximum. During her trial for manslaughter last month, prosecutors argued that Ms. Gutierrez Reed had been repeatedly reckless in her job of managing weapons and ammunition, and that she directly caused the tragic event on October 21st, 2021, when the gun Alec Baldwin was using from his shoulder holster fired a live bullet, killing the cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Now, Alec Baldwin has pleaded not guilty to involuntary manslaughter. His trial is scheduled to start in July, though a judge is currently weighing a motion from his defense team to dismiss the indictment. So before she was sentenced, boy, losing my mind tonight, the judge, Mary Marlowe Summer, isn't that interesting? Prosecutors released summaries of calls that Ms. Gutierrez Reed made from jail after her conviction. Prosecutors used these calls, during which Ms. Gutierrez Reed calls the jurors in her case idiots, and used that to argue that she should receive the highest possible sentence. The call summaries include her saying that the judge was on a power trip and alleging without evidence that the judge was getting paid off. Judge Marlo Summers said during the hearing at the First Judicial District Courthouse in Santa Fe, New Mexico, that giving Ms. Gutierrez-Reed less than the full sentence would be a pass that she did not deserve, citing the jail calls as evidence of a lack of remorse. And the judge said, and I quote, "You were the armorer, the one that stood between a safe weapon and a weapon that could kill someone. You alone turned a safe weapon into a lethal weapon. But for you, Ms. Hutchins would be alive. A husband would have his partner and a little boy would have his mother." Ms. Gutierrez-Reed pled for leniency before the sentence, saying that when she took the Rust job, she was young and was naive, but took her job as seriously as she knew how to. And she said, and I quote, "Despite not having proper time, resources, and staffing when things got tough, I just did my best to handle it. The jury has found me in part at fault for this awful tragedy, but that doesn't make me a monster. That makes me human." Her lawyers said they will appeal her conviction. They argued for leniency at the sentencing, saying that the defendant had a deep sadness over Miss Hutchins' death. They said that the overwhelming public attention on the case meant she had to endure collateral consequences far harsher than most defendants ever must face. They talked about a deluge of press coverage and death threats she received. The defense argued throughout the trial that Ms. Gutierrez-Reed was being scapegoated for a tragedy that occurred because the production did not afford her enough time to focus on weapons, something that several producers denied throughout the trial. In court papers, the prosecutors detailed jail calls in which Gutierrez-Reed contended that she didn't need to be shaking the dummies all the time, referring to safety measures in which weapons specialists shake inert cartridges called dummy rounds to hear a rattle inside, which indicates that the round cannot fire from the gun. On the day of the shooting, Ms. Gutierrez-Reed was supposed to have loaded 6 dummy rounds in Mr. Baldwin's revolver, but one ended up being live. Every time a gun was loaded with dummy rounds, it was a game of Russian roulette, the lead prosecutor, Carrie Morrissey, wrote in a court filing ahead of the sentencing. In a separate call, prosecutors say that Ms. Gutierrez-Reed said she was trying to get her lawyer's paralegal to reach out to Ms. Hutchins' family about speaking on her behalf at the sentencing. She said that she wants prosecutors to put Alec Baldwin in jail. "It was my sincere hope during this process that there would be some movement when Ms. Gutierrez took responsibility, expressed some level of remorse that was genuine, and this moment has never come," said Ms. Morrissey during the hearing. Gutierrez-Reed's lawyers wrote in court papers that the jail calls, which they characterized as displaying frustration at the system, did not detract from her heartbreak and extreme sadness over what occurred on the Rust set. At the sentencing hearing, Ms. Gutierrez-Reed's stepfather, Thel Reed, a prominent Hollywood armorer who said she had taught her how to do the job, gave testimony on her behalf, telling the judge that it would be unjust to give her prison time just because there were others in part responsible for the tragedy. The armorer's conviction was the first time anyone has ever been held criminally responsible at a jury trial for the death of Ms. Hutchins. Okay. That's that. Let's go to now. Hold on one second. Okay. Trying to get the next picture up here. Get up there, Chad. So today, during the trial, you probably saw a video of Chad talking to his daughter Emma, telling her about $9,000 that was there. You know, he was very monotone. It seemed almost like he had been sedated. We heard a call with him and Lori. You know, stuff like that was happening. But I want to tell you about, so there was people that are not invited back into the courtroom because they were causing the jurors not to be able to concentrate or something is what we heard from the judge. But we're going to go through it just briefly. I'll give you just a short recap. We will be covering again, which, you know, I just remembered. Gotta do a thumbnail for that. Let me just do it real quick because otherwise I'm going to, that was silly. I should just do them all the way I did Letitia's. Everything was there. But while I'll talk to you about it while I'm just, it's very simple for me just to do this. Just gotta put it in. So we start at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. And they do take a lot of breaks and lunch breaks. I'm not going to lie. It seems like we're at a break. Now, is the judge going to be like the one in Timothy Jones' case where he actually said, oh, they're saying on the internet we take too many breaks, you know? I don't know. I don't know if Judge Stephen Boyce is concerned with that. But, yeah, it does seem like a good bit of breaks. Anyway, they were talking about, you know, the search and how Chad was acting during the search. And was he nervous? Was he doing this? And Emma lives, they were saying, kitty corner from him. And she was like, oh, Dad, I know you were shocked when they said they found human remains. You know, I'm like, does he really look shocked? He just looks monotone and he looks scary. Like, you can't believe, because if you were innocent in all this, you think you'd be jumping up and down. So, you know, I don't know. Let me just grab this real quick. This will just take 1 minute to get this out there. Trial day 4 and trial day 4. Right? Is that right? We're on trial day 4. Yeah. 10:30. We're going to do this. Okay. And let's just change this thing right here, right here. Change it. Chad. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Okay. Next, next, next. And we're going 10:30 a.m. There we go. Okay. Let me go back to chat now. Remind me to share that stuff out later. Don't let me forget that. Okay, the audio and the cameras were really good today because they let us see the defendants in the Zoom. They zoomed in in the Zoom on Chad, and it was much better. The judge ruled that John Pryor cannot reference incidents involving Joseph Ryan and Alex Cox. Vince Kakemanu. Okay, we're just going to call him Vince K. Okay, I'm not even going to try that anymore. Vince K was the next witness. He works for the Fremont County Sheriff's Office for 18 years, and he oversees the Madison County Jail now. They were talking about phone calls, and that's when they played the phone call between Chad and Lori that occurred on June 9th, 2020, when they were searching the property. So we heard that. And in that phone call, Lori called Chad, "Hi, babe, are you okay?" And he says they're searching the property. And she says, "The house right now?" And he says, "Yes, yes." And so then he says, "So Mark means we'll be talking to you." Lori asks if they are in the house. Chad says no, they're out searching the property. And Lori asked if they were seizing stuff again, and Chad said they're searching. The call continued. He says, "I'm glad you called. We'll see what transpires." She says, "Kay, what do you want me to do?" And pray, Chad says. "Yeah, pray, yeah." Chad tells Lori to call Mark. Could mean Mark Means. Chad tells Lori he's getting a call from someone else, says, "I love you so much." Lori asks if she should try to call him later, and Chad says, I don't know. He's thinking, I don't know where I'm going to be. "You can try. I'll answer if I can. I love you. I'll talk soon." And I love you. They end their call. Then John Pryor starts to cross-examine Vince K, saying, "How many officers were at Chad's house?" And Vince K says more than 30. John Pryor asked about Chad mentioning on the phone that he was at his daughter Emma's house, which is kitty corners to Chad's home. John Pryor asks if he found out who the person was calling that interrupted Chad's call with Lori, and Vince K said he did not know. John Pryor mentioned the search again on the call with Chad. Lori mentioning the search again, I'm sorry. He asked Vince K how many times officers had searched Chad's home prior to June 20th search, and Vince K said they went in January of 2020. John Pryor asked if the officers ever showed up unannounced at Chad's house to search property. Vince K said no. They did go with a search warrant in January. And then he asked Vince K if he has interviewed Melanie Gibb, and Vince says he has one time. John Pryor asked Vince K about interviewing Garth Daybell, Chad's son. Vince K said he interviewed Garth one time at the Rexburg Police Department, and said he also went to the school where Garth teaches with an FBI special agent. John Pryor asked how long Garth was at the Rexburg Police Department for the interview. Vince says for a few hours. They got him McDonald's and a soda. Garth asked for an attorney, and the lawyer showed up. Pryor asked Vince K for a reviewed videotape of Chad and Emma. Okay, so then we saw that videotape of Chad and Emma. Let's see. That was when Wheeler got on the stand, and he said that there were many times he would see Chad looking awkwardly over his right shoulder when the investigator and cadaver dogs were working. And at one point, Chad got out of his vehicle, walked around, then got back in. He made a phone call and then he drove over to Emma's house. And Wheeler says Chad had a brief conversation outside and then went into her house. He was inside for an hour and a half. Then Chad left the property. He appeared in a hurry to go. Detectives were assigned to keep an eye on him, and Wheeler told Detective Schmidt that Chad was leaving in a vehicle. Other investigators came running over and said, "Hurry, go and stop him." Now, Wheeler said he heard Chad accelerate and he thought, is he trying to run? Wheeler stopped Chad around the Fremont-Madison County line. Wheeler asked Chad to get out of his vehicle and said detectives were on their way to talk to him. Chad didn't ask any questions and was not surprised or shocked that he was stopped. Let's see. He asked Wheeler, prosecutor, if there was some interaction with Chad. Wheeler said he placed handcuffs on Chad. He told him he was being detained, and Chad was put in Wheeler's patrol vehicle. Chad was told JJ had been found. Wheeler said there were 3 cameras inside his vehicle. Wixom moves to admit the video footage from the patrol vehicle. One is a dash cam. The other is a camera recording from outside the vehicle. The videos are over an hour long, but they're only going to play 15 minutes in court. The clip comes up, shows Chad Daybell wearing a baseball cap and a polo shirt. In the back seat of the car, Emma, his daughter, comes over to the side of the car and is crying and says, "I love you so much," and gives him a hug. And then Chad says, "Emma will be running his finances, I suppose." Chad is looking at the screen in the courtroom as the video is being played. Chad tells Emma there's about $9,000 in a middle drawer in Mark's room. Chad tells Emma the password to his bank account. He goes through his bank cards with his daughter. He tells her the company business card is in the same drawer as the $9,000. He tells her that the card used for Telmate. Emma says she already has a Telmate account that she's been talking to Lori on. Chad tells Emma he puts $30 a week on Lori's commissary. Emma starts to cry. "I love you so much." Chad says, "I'm sorry," and tells her to cooperate with police officers as much as she feels. Emma tells her dad that she will take care of Mark and her and her dad as the best she can. Chad tells Emma to keep paying the mortgage out of the company account, and they discuss the car payment. Chad says, "I'm not coming back." Well, you know you weren't coming back, Chatty. Chad tells Emma the house is essentially hers, and he'll talk to John Pryor about financial arrangements. He continues to talk about money and maybe refinancing the house. Emma asks if things can be sent from Amazon to the jail, and Chad says Lori would know the Amazon account. He says he has about $265 in gift certificates in his Amazon account. Emma asked the officer near the car if they're leaving things in the home, like the computer, and he says he does not know. Chad says it will work out. Emma says she's going to miss her dad so much. Chad said he isn't sure if he's going to Madison or Fremont County Jail. Chad says he's sure Fremont has a Telmate system so they can talk. Chad ended up going to Fremont. Okay. Chad says all the neighbors are going to be talking. Emma says they already are. She tells her dad, "We're okay, Dad. We're okay. You raised us, so we are independent now. I'm not Colby," referring to Colby Ryan, Lori's son. Emma and Chad continue to discuss their finances, and he says that he spoke to Lori a few minutes ago. Emma asked if Lori was surprised. Chad says she seemed bothered and disturbed. Emma tells her dad she asked police where they found the human remains. She was told under the tree, and there were boards over it. And Chad says, okay. And Emma says, I can see in your face that it surprises you. Yeah, right, Emma? I don't think it did. Emma says in her conversation with the police, she was told one set of remains were found and they were looking for another. Emma says she called Mark, her brother, and told him that her dad was arrested. Chad says it's all a matter of timing and things will all come together. He says he loves Emma. They hug. He says they can talk on Telmate. Okay, and then another short clip is played where Chad is looking at the fire pit area where Tylee's remains were found. And next, John Pryor asked Wheeler when Chad was advised remains have been found on his property, and Wheeler said it just happened during the traffic stop. Wheeler confirms Chad was in Emma's house for 90 minutes to 2 hours. Pryor asks about Chad leaving Emma's house and asks Wheeler to clarify that Chad was speeding off. Pryor asks what the speed limit is in front of Chad's house, and Wheeler says it's 50 miles per hour. Pryor asks if it would be unusual to accelerate once they get on the highway, and Wheeler says that's not unusual. Pryor asked Wheeler when Chad was advised remains were found. Oh, sorry, I'm going on to the same thing again. Sorry about that. Okay. Basically stuff like that. You can watch the whole trial on our channel. You can go look at the videos every day. But then they started to talk about Tammy. Okay. Tammy's death certificate was admitted, but never published. Now there was a photo of Tammy Daybell after she was exhumed that was showed on the screen, and Chad had no reaction. Now you think even if he had that's his wife, right? That's his wife. If you don't even kill your wife and you're it's normal to have a reaction. So they're talking about how her body was exhumed. The casket was loaded into a hearse and it was taken to the medical examiner's office. Tammy Daybell's children were never notified that their mother was being exhumed. Cause of death says cardiac event and pulmonary edema. John Pryor points out that Tammy's father has a history of heart issues. Pryor asked, you went to a judge to have her dug out of the ground and you didn't even once look at her certificate of death? Pryor shows another exhibit. Asked Powell to read from the screen. This is a report of what Chad said happened that morning. He said Tammy had a coughing fit and vomited. She went to sleep and died. Chad told investigators Tammy did not have any serious medical conditions. The last time she was at a doctor was approximately 2 months prior when she had fallen in the driveway hurting her arm. Chad said Tammy had been feeling sick and had been going through menopause. John Pryor points out that Tammy used herbal medicines and untraditional treatments instead of going to the doctor when she was sick. Most of what was in the cupboard was essential oils and natural medicines. John Pryor asked about bruises on Tammy's body at the time she passed away. Powell said he was aware of bruises. Pryor asked if they were old bruises. Powell doesn't recall. Pryor said Tammy was clearly taking medication for bruising, and Powell responds, that's what the report says. Chad also told the coroner that his mom was having seizures. Their daughter and Tammy were taking clogging classes and had slowed down lately. You didn't take that into consideration when you decided to dig up Tammy Daybell, did you? Pryor asked. Powell says no. Then the list of medical conditions that Tammy was having were read out by Pryor and confirmed with Powell that he didn't take the items into consideration. And then he said, let's see here. Powell, if they asked Powell if he was aware that Chad and Lori were together at the time of the exhumation, Powell says yes. Lori and Chad were holding hands at Hobby Lobby 12 days after Tammy died. Chad Daybell did not want an autopsy on his wife. And then again, what I said when they came back, Boyce said there was an issue with people that were in the back of the courtroom who attended the trial, and it involved the jury, and those people are not permitted back in the courtroom, and he reminds everybody of courtroom conduct. Next, Nicole Heidman was on the stand, an FBI tactile specialist. She's looking at phone numbers and cell phones in the investigation, and court adjourned shortly after that, and it will be on tomorrow. But you can take a look and watch that. But I want to talk about now is, let me see if I have it here. I believe yes, it's here. Let's talk about Karen Reed. Okay, so the Karen Reed case. Massachusetts is where it occurred, and we're going to give a recap. The thing is, here's what happened. Is it the girlfriend, Karen Reed, who was intoxicated, or was it cops that were shady that did something and they used her as a scapegoat? So it's a really controversial murder trial. It involves a mysterious death of a Boston police officer, and it's going to start tomorrow. So I'm going to see how we're going to do this. Karen Reed is a 44-year-old financial analyst and college professor. She's facing second-degree murder charges in the death of her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, who was a Boston police officer. This is John O'Keefe. Okay, here's the police officer. Now, his body was found lying in the snow outside a house in Canton, Massachusetts, 14 miles south of Boston, and that happened January 29th, 2022. And the prosecutors say Karen Reed and O'Keefe, who was 46, argued drunkenly in her car as she was dropping him off at a friend's house after a night of bar hopping. They allege she intentionally backed her Lexus SUV into him in a rage and left him to die in the snow. Well, Karen Reed, who has a powerhouse legal team led by Alan Jackson, who represented Kevin Spacey, has pled not guilty to second-degree murder, manslaughter, and while operating under the influence and leaving the scene. She denies killing O'Keefe and claims she's being framed by people in the suburban party house. The case has gripped Massachusetts and divided the town, and some claim torn it apart in the months since Karen Reed's arrest. Among those who support Karen Reed are flamboyant blogger known as Turtle Boy, who first sounded the alarm, and his many Turtle Riders followers, as well as some veteran lawyers and retired detectives who have obsessively passed the investigation, discussed the investigation on Twitter, now known as X, and other true crime forums. Most extraordinary is the ongoing federal probe of a possible police cover-up that has turned into a parallel investigation to the murder. Many people have never seen anything like this case before. Okay, so according to Karen Reed, she and O'Keefe had been drinking with his friend Jennifer McCabe, who Reed did not know well, at the local Waterfall bar. Around midnight, McCabe invited the couple to the home of her brother-in-law, Brian Albert, a retired Boston Police Fugitive Unit Commander detective. The 60-year-old Gulf War vet had appeared on Donnie Wahlberg's reality show Boston's Finest. Karen Reed dropped O'Keefe off there at about 12:30 a.m., and she said there were reportedly about a dozen people partying at the house. He really only knew McCabe, she said. According to Reed, she then drove the 3 miles to his home in Canton, where the officer lived with his orphan niece and nephew, and went to bed. Karen Reed woke up at about 4:30 a.m. She panicked that her boyfriend of a couple of years had not come home. She tried calling him. And McCabe, who claimed to have never seen O'Keefe at the party, as well as an old friend of O'Keefe's, Carrie Roberts. When no one had answers, Reed said she went to Jennifer's house in hysterics, and the two women, along with Roberts, drove back to O'Keefe's house and then to Albert's. When they finally got to the Albert home at 34 Fairview, it was still dark outside, but Karen saw O'Keefe's body on the lawn and ran to give him CPR. The first responders who arrived after Karen Reed, McCabe, and Roberts found the body and claimed to have overheard Karen Reed saying, "I hit him, I hit him." Reed disputed that, saying, "She said I hit him?" Like a question mark. It was preceded by did and preceded by a question mark. What I thought could have happened was that, did I incapacitate him unwittingly somehow, and then in his drunkenness he passed out? I did not kill John O'Keefe. I have never harmed a hair on John O'Keefe's head. She was arrested on February 2nd, 4 days after O'Keefe was found and charged with manslaughter, and 4 months later the charges were elevated to murder. She is out on bond. But Reed's highest profile supporters believe that someone in the Albert house beat O'Keefe badly, dumped his body on the snow-covered lawn outside, and framed Karen Reed for his murder. Their take is a complicated conspiracy involving the partygoers as well as the Canton police, the state police, and the DA's office. The cops knitted this together like a tight cap, said one local resident, who was too fearful of repercussions to be publicly identified. The poor SOB was beaten to a pulp. He wasn't hit by a car. This is a bad, bad crime scene. And these people are trying to pin it on Karen are evil. Albert's family has been in Canton for generations, and locals say the clan has enormous influence on connections in the town. The lead detective for the state, who are officially investigating the case, is Michael Proctor, reportedly a close friend of the Albert family. The Massachusetts State Police, they've said, planted evidence to frame Karen. There's no doubt in my mind, says a 35-year-old veteran of law enforcement, Sean McDonough. Let's see. So that's what the trial's about. So, you know, I don't know how we can, I have to do the other trial. I don't know. So many, you know, that there's like no trials, like, and then boom. Country, they, uh-oh, that's me. They put the trials on. I'm trying to get back to the chat. And it's playing the video when I go back to the chat. It's playing the video. Okay. There we go. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. So let me just see something real quick. And you guys were also supposed to tell me to remember to share out the Chatty Daybell. I'm just going to do it real fast on Twitter. Hold on a second. Shoot. Getting so sleepy. Let me just share this out. Okay, let's do that. And next we were going to go and hang on one second because we're going to do, okay. I have to see about the live stream. For Karen Reed, and I don't know how we would do both anyway. So I guess it's one or the other. We'll just have to cover the case. I don't know. There's only so much you can do. I've got a lot to do. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. So why do I keep doing, I'm trying to write a post and I keep doing schedule alive. I want to write a post. Post. Oh my gosh, what is up with this? Create post. Okay, now, hold on. We're gonna, oh my goodness. Okay. understand why it does that. Come on. Sorry, I'm trying to post. Why is this not posting? There we go. There we go, all fixed. Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you for waiting. Okay. Any questions on what we have? Court can get super boring sometimes. Even the judge knows. What? Can never have enough breaks? Oh, high 61, really? It's a little too many breaks, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Okay, let's do the word game because I am falling asleep. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to make it through the word game. But we'll try. Hopefully it's a short one tonight. I am exhausted. Oh, gosh. I'm so sorry. Maybe I'll just do this in the morning before the trial. Quad load up. Come on. Hi, Dina. Why is everything taking me so maybe? Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay. There we go. Alright. I don't know why we still have Christmas. Okay, well. Okay, rape. Rip. Peer. Pie. Pre. Here. Okay. Okay, let's see. Empire. Right. Premier have got Empire. Thank you. Error. Hi, Flo on the go. How are you? Hi, Brenda. How are you? I have to change the theme, I know, but I didn't even put this. I don't think I even put this Christmas theme up here, babe. They did it on me. Tired. Come on, guys. Let's see. Rim, I already have Rim. It doesn't work. I'll be Christmas before we know it. So yeah, right, Brenda, right? I'm ahead of time. I've decorated early. That's what I'm going to go with. I decorated early. Perm pre. What is it? Pim? Yep. There's only prim. Yeah, prim and proper. Prim and proper. Oh, good. Perm. I think I did perm. It wasn't there. Perms and Tonys. Got them. Okay. Here. Good, Brenda. Two more guys. I need to get some sleep. Heart made wise. What's the last one, please? That caviar's got to be an M. It's got to start with an M or an E or an I. Wait a minute, what about ire? Oh, thank you, Art. Okay. Alright, guys, I'm going to go to bed. I am exhausted, and I got a really big day tomorrow, but thank you so much for coming in. I love you guys. God bless. Prayers, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now. Take care. Love you guys. Hello, Two Scooter.